because we want the seat of Toronto. We're gonna start the war, but for the people of Gaza, for the children of Palestine, for the journalists, for every martyr in Palestine, not just during this genocide, but during the past 100 years. For every martyr, for every struggle, for every free person of this world, today we raise our voices. Today we take the streets. Today we are together.
You won't be intimidated by the police. Let's be loud.
Show up and take the streets in our thousands. We are marching today to show the complicit Canadian states, the Zionist lobbies, to show the world that we will not back down from our demands and we will continue to fight for Palestine. We are showing the elite that we are stubborn and we will not stop these protests, and we will continue to grow until we see a full two-way arms embargo now! It has been 22 months into a genocide that the world has been watching. Every single day we are seeing more homes getting demolished, more journalists killed, intensifying forced famine, and entire families being erased from the civil registry. Shame! The Zionist project is not a series of isolated crimes. It is the advancement of over a century of settler colonialism in Palestine. It is part of a global system of Western imperialism that has devastated our Arab region and many others. Shame! This is why Palestine is not only a Palestinian cause, it is the front line of the shut this down. Shut it down. We are doing this for every single martyr. Their weakness does not stop with their martyrdom, but it will grow 1,000 times louder. For every single Palestinian they kill, our voices will become 10,000 times louder. They want us to mourn in fear and in silence, but we will not. Our anger will be turned into action. So let them hear us when we say, no.
For the people filming us on the side, enjoying your Saturday, we want to tell this Canadian state is complicit in the genocide of Gaza. Share. It claims that it's suspending permits of weapons headed to the Zionist state, but they have deceived us. They are sending fighter jet compartments. They are sending bullets, technology to the Zionist army. Shame! We are here marching in the thousands because we refuse to be silent on this, and we will continue to mobilize until we enforce this two-way arms embargo on the Zionist state. Dean is a journalist and former host and producer at CBC and is the current founder and host of On the Line Media. She is also a founding member of the Canadian Journalists for Justice in Palestine. Please make some noise for our comrade Samira.
Thank you very much. The photo that I am holding is of Hossam Shabbat, 23-year-old journalist. He was killed on March 24th, 2025. On April 9th, 2024, Christian Amanpour appeared on the Jon Stewart Show. And she said the problem is there are no journalists in Gaza. Jon Stewart corrected her and told her there's Palestinian journalists in Gaza. Amanpour corrected herself and said there's no independent journalists in Gaza. I'm gonna put his photo. A couple days after, Hossam Shabbat responded to Amanpour on his social media. He wrote to her, "The biggest problem is not Western journalists being unable to enter, but the fact that Western media doesn't respect and value Palestinian journalists." My colleagues and I risk our lives every day to report on this genocide. No one knows Gaza like we do. No one understands Gaza and the complexity like we do. If you care about what's happening in Gaza, then you need to bring Palestinian journalist voices to the front. We don't need Western journalists to tell our stories. We are capable of telling and reporting on our own stories. As I sat down to try and figure out what to say to all of you today, after 680 fucking days of genocide, I asked myself, can Palestinians be journalists? It may sound like a dumb question, but if you understood what takes place inside the newsrooms across this country, you would know why I'm asking that question. More often than not, we don't see Palestinian journalists as colleagues or as credible. More more often than not, we start from a place of disbelief when they give us an account of what is happening to them on the ground in Gaza. And that disbelief is what Israel counts on most. That is why Israel is able to kill 200 plus journalists with diabolical impunity. Because the work of dehumanization began long before October 7th. You don't just become a genocidal state overnight. You have to put that footwork in years before we got to this point. And you have to put that footwork in order for the world to say, Israel has a right to defend itself. And part of that defense means killing journalists. Israel hasn't just killed Palestinian journalists. Israel has killed journalism itself. And that includes the journalism we see in this country, where hosts will interrupt their Palestinian guests to correct them, to say, no, don't use the word genocide. We don't use that word. We would never do that with any other people or any other issue. But something has shifted in the last week since the murder of 5 Al Jazeera journalists. For the first time, after the killing of more than 200 journalists, the government of Canada issued a statement. I'm quoting, Canada condemns the killing of the Al Jazeera journalists in Gaza. Journalists are civilians. Targeting them is unacceptable. We call for full accountability and the protection of media everywhere. Media everywhere? Where else? Where else have 200 journalists been killed? Who killed them, Canada? You forgot to name the killer, Israel. How can we protect journalists when we can't name their killer? Israel counts on this level of obfuscation on the part of Western journalists and governments. I am speaking to you today as a founding member of the Canadian Journalists for Justice in Palestine. We held our first press conference on June 25th, and since that day, Israel has killed 14 more journalists. We believe that the silence from Canadian media is unacceptable. We want to see improved Canadian coverage of events in Palestine and Israel, and to protect the journalists who are speaking out in their newsrooms in Canada. Because as Israel murders the messenger over there, managers and executive producers are silencing journalists over here. We have dozens of members across this country, and we urge you to join us in whatever capacity you are comfortable with. In solidarity with our Palestinian colleagues in Gaza, we demand the Canadian government fulfill both its moral and its legal occupation under the Crimes Against Humanity and War Crimes Act, to push for the prosecution of Israeli lawmakers and the soldiers who are killing the journalists. I have lived through pain in all its details. I have tasted suffering and loss many times, yet I never once hesitated to convey the truth as it is, without distortion or falsification. Those are the last words of Anis al-Sharif. Before they killed Anas al-Sharif, they killed his father. It is not just the journalists that Israel is after, it is systemically killing their families also. I urge the media workers in this group right now, the journalists who are marching here, don't make Israel the exception when you're reporting. Do your fucking jobs! And to others who are here, hold your media to account. More often than not, you are the ones paying their salaries. Don't let them make Israel the exception. As Palestinian journalists risk their lives minute by minute to show us what is happening in Gaza, I ask you, enough is enough. End Israeli impunity. Before I go, I just want to say thank you to the Palestine youth movement. Make some noise for this group of young people. They have been organizing for nearly 100 fucking rallies. One last thing before I go. Please, please, please support local independent media in this country. We are doing the work and making the connections that corporate media is afraid to. The Maple, The Breach, Ricochet, The Grind, and many others. We cannot do this work without you. Thank you.
Make some noise for Samira. We're now going to
next question is now. The arc of history is not clear when you are living in the thick of it, but the legacy of progress and revolution that we are building on and the glorious and heroic resistance in Palestine today shows us that no matter how much power the oppressors project, no matter how much power the oppressors project, when people are guided by their unshakable commitment to liberation, when they're fighting for a cause that is righteous, the people are unstoppable and undefeatable. So today, let's be as loud as we can. Make sure that everyone in this city knows that Canada is still our Israel, but that the people will keep showing up in bigger crowds, in larger numbers, with more courage every time. And we will show up not just until we get an arms embargo, not just until we see an end to this genocide, but until total liberation from
I just want to remind everyone, we are here for one reason. It's to lift the siege of Gaza, to end the genocide. If there are agitators, if the police are saying things, we ignore them. We are here to enforce our demands. Focus on today's messaging. We keep each other safe, no one else. Toronto, just as millions have in New York, in London, in the West Bank, and all over the world for Palestine, for Gaza. Our people in Palestine hold the front lines of the struggle, and we in the diaspora, we carry a heavy responsibility. We are not bystanders. We are the same people, part of the same struggle for liberation. Deepen, and our role is to ensure that the world cannot look away and that we contribute to ending this genocide in every way we can. For the last century, the Zionist entity has suffocated our lands. In the West Bank, it tries to erase our identity. In 48, its crimes of occupation extend to our shared borders with Lebanon and Syria, and its crimes perpetrated in the rest of our region. Shame! This cannot continue to go unchecked. We must confront Zionism in all of its forms. Today, when we march, we are confronting Zionism in its ideological form. We are showing that no amount of propaganda or whitewashing can erase the truth or shield the Zionist entity from accountability. We are showing that no amount of police violence or political repression will ever silence us. They thought that they could subjugate us into silence, will come back 10,000 times stronger. And we must believe that we do have the power to deal thousands of cuts to weaken the system and loosen its chokehold on our people. And one of the main tasks in front of us is by enforcing an arms embargo. Canada, the United States, and Europe profit directly from arming the Zionist states. Shame! Our arms embargo now report was able to expose Canada's continued complicity. Despite the so-called suspension of new permits, nearly 400 shipments have been leaving from Toronto, Montreal, and other Canadian cities to the Zionist entity, in some cases under the feet of passengers on commercial flights. Shame! This includes military components for F-35 fighter jets currently bombing our people in Gaza. This includes contracts for 50,000 mortar cartridges worth over $80 million and over 400,000 bullets absurdly labeled by the government as paintballs. Shame! While the Canadian state lies, it tries to whitewash its crimes with PR stunts about dropping aid packages in Gaza, while with its other hand, it provides Israel with the tools of genocide. Shame! They think we are stupid. We know that the Canadian government is an accomplice in this genocide, and only a full two-way arms embargo will cut off the weapons, technology, and profits that sustain the Zionist colonial project. And I want to close with one more thing. Zionism and U.S. imperialism want us to feel distant and powerless, to believe that what happens in Palestine is disconnected from us. But we all know that this is a lie. Our voices, our actions, our presence in these streets is pressure on these governments that arm Israel and support Israel. And they are scared of nothing more than a unified, powerful movement. We are extensions of the voices of our people in Gaza, in the refugee camps, and they call for us to amplify their voices in the streets. So it is our duty to answer by refusing Western complicity, by confronting Zionism and its allies at every turn. We carry the struggle forward, and we will forcefully pave our path towards a liberated Palestine. We will continue to mobilize, take action, and fight till the total liberation of Palestine.
Is motivated by deep moral conviction